We are less bored than our ancestors, but we are much more afraid of boredom. Boredom is something most of us try to avoid in some way. We are scared of facing all the undesired thoughts that occupy our mind. However, boredom is actually one of the best things that can happen to us and is something that has changed the lives of many individuals. Currently, we live in a world where people are constantly trying to escape boredom. Most people constantly try to fill their time with meaningless activities. They would rather do anything than be bored. People are so afraid to stay alone with their own thoughts. Boredom can indeed be very uncomfortable. Just think about how most people can't even go to the bathroom without taking their phone with them. By constantly trying to escape boredom, we create an inability to stay alone with our thoughts. As a result, we lose touch with our own self and what we truly want in life. Our creativity will most likely decrease to zero as we don't give our minds any time to think. And how are we supposed to come up with any great ideas? Escaping boredom will also greatly impact our focus. If we constantly numb ourselves with activities that create large increases in dopamine and pleasure, everything else will seem boring and meaningless. However, if we spend a lot of time alone being bored with our own thoughts, most of the activities we know we have to do but consider boring would be much easier to execute. Building a business or studying, even other not-so-easy tasks, will require much less mental friction to execute because they are more exciting than just staying alone with our own thoughts. Perhaps your procrastination would most likely disappear if your alternative were simply doing nothing. But because you scroll through TikTok all day and play video games instead, it becomes much harder. Boredom might not be the most thrilling experience. Although it may not bring much happiness, it has the power to completely transform your life. Boredom leads to self-reflection and self-discovery, pushing your mind into a state of creativity and generating new ideas that haven't crossed your mind before. Now, let's delve into the lives of some of the greatest figures in history and how boredom inspired them to come up with groundbreaking ideas, ultimately changing the world. The first individual we will focus on is Isaac Newton and his renowned story of discovering gravity. Newton's exploration of gravity stands as one of the most momentous discoveries of all time. Who knows where the field of physics would be today without his groundbreaking work? Perhaps Einstein's general theory of relativity would never have come to fruition. Legend has it that, while sitting idle beneath an apple tree in his garden, Newton experienced an apple falling on his head. This event prompted him to ponder about the force behind the apple's gravitational descent, leading him to speculate whether this very force governed the moon's orbit around Earth. Determined to uncover the truth, Newton dedicated years to refining his theory of universal gravitation. He unveiled that the force responsible for objects falling towards Earth was the same force that encircled planets around the Sun. In addition, he developed mathematical formulas that conveyed the relationship between the mass of two objects and the gravitational force between them. The impact of Newton's gravitational discovery cannot be understated. It revolutionized our understanding of physics and the universe, serving as the cornerstone of modern physics. Its ripples extended even further, considerably influencing fields such as astronomy, engineering, and biology. The main lesson we can take away from this story is that boredom, coupled with the ability to question things, can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Newton, unafraid of solitude, pondered his thoughts in the solitude of his garden. Even in an era devoid of social media, he closely observed and connected with the world. His mind remained undistracted, allowing him to question the phenomenon of the apple falling on his head. Today, such situations are rare as people are becoming increasingly disconnected from nature and unwilling to spend time alone with their thoughts. Similar to Newton, James Watt, a Scottish scientist, conceived the idea of a steam engine while observing the boiling of cattle in his busy kitchen. He was drawn to the sounds it produced, realizing the inefficiency and waste in the prevailing steam generation methods. While steam engines were being used at the time, they were inefficient and unreliable. Fascinated by the potential of steam power, Watt embarked on designing a more efficient engine. His invention had a profound impact, shaping the world as we know it today. This remarkable example further demonstrates how Watt's boredom ignited his creativity and facilitated the development of his revolutionary idea. I'll share one last example, but this time it will be about someone who lived closer to our time. Steve Jobs, the famous innovator known for his ability to generate cutting-edge ideas, reportedly did his best thinking when he was feeling bored. A notable incident is when he conceived the idea for the iPod during a flight where he was bored due to limited entertainment options. Great philosophers have also expressed their views on boredom. Friedrich Nietzsche once stated, "He who shields himself completely from boredom also shields himself against his true self, and he will never experience the most enriching and invigorating moments of his own existence." Immanuel Kant believed that boredom could fuel our curiosity and prompt us to venture beyond our immediate surroundings. By embracing boredom and accepting the discomfort it brings, we can open ourselves up to new discoveries and innovative ideas. Learning to appreciate solitude without succumbing to loneliness is an essential step in finding our true selves and practicing mindfulness, focusing fully on the present moment. Realizing that we need not fear boredom but rather see it as an opportunity to grow and improve ourselves is a powerful concept. Once we are comfortable with our thoughts and embrace boredom, nothing can stand in our way. Brilliant ideas often emerge from the depths of boredom, as it is during these moments that we confront the limitations of our current circumstances and feel inspired to explore new possibilities.